How are everybody? Welcome back to the Sean Atwood channel. I'm Ron Swanson. I'm here with Beverli Rhodes, and you're here to watch Awaken with Beverli Rhodes. Tonight, we've got a special guest, Dani Henderson, who's going to be joining us in a little while. But as promised, we're going to start a little early to get some of your questions in. So we're just going to go straight into it. So if you guys have got any questions for Bev, get them in the side chat, put the 3 Qs at the start, and then put your question afterwards. And good luck, and we'll see how many we can get through in this opening segment. But I hope everyone is doing well. Bev, how are you doing today?
Doing extremely well. I've had some amazing discussions with individuals about policies and procedures and how to deal successfully with survivors, and putting my 10 cents worth to say this is what I think should be done. And it looks like some of my suggestions will be put forward to different large bodies, shall we say, across the world.
Oh, that's excellent. See, that's
trying to make a difference.
So we like to hear. Okay, here's the first question coming in from Tammy. Is there such a thing as evil energy?
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily evil energy. It's a different type of energy and a different type of frequency. And the frequency definitely has no good attached to it. So it's one of those that the energy is so strong that it would feed off fear, hatred, suffering, all those types of things. So that's what we would call an evil frequency or an evil energy, because those are all things that we wouldn't like to see happening to people.
Sure.
So that, in a way, it's like an evil energy, whereas a good energy, one that's positive, would be totally opposite to that. I hope that answers the question, Tony.
Next one is from Ron. I think what he's more asking about is, when you say believe in Jesus, I imagine, did you believe the story of Jesus or something like that? I don't really think it's basing it on you talking about your own religion, if that makes sense. But what's your take on that?
Well, I do believe in all of the different ascended masters and ascended beings, and of all different names and natures, mainly because I've seen a lot of them in my time. Particularly when I was sick, I definitely did see different types of energy beings who I believe might have been some of those individuals. So yes, I would say that I do believe.
Yeah, I watched, I don't know what I was watching actually, but it was one of these compilation videos about remote viewers who had tried to remote view into Jesus during the crucifixion and did not have a good time at all with the whole experience. So
yeah, I would imagine probably not, because I mean the energies are and frequencies there are extremely high when you're viewing that. Plus also there's a level of stretching that energy over time, because you're going into an assumed timeline. And because we don't necessarily have exact times and dates, we can only suppose that possibly might be the timeline that we're going into view.
You may know of some of the people. These were all the people that were like former CIA psychics and all these sort of people. And I mean, when they talk about things, it's pretty intense. So it was just an interesting one. Okay, here's another one, Beverli. I just celebrated my birthday on Monday, but I felt my energy was down. I lost my job last week. Any advice? I'm Sagittarius. I'm not sure if we have good or negative energy.
Well, firstly, congratulations. I'm glad you had a birthday on Monday. And I think that, you know, when you look at your entry date, which is your birthday, you've got 2 months before your birthday itself, and then 2 months after your birthday, where the energy will change your life, which is the reason for it. And I think that you losing your job is just a way in which that is opening up for you to have something completely new that comes to you 2 months after your birthday. So I would allow yourself to be as positive as you can, because it would mean pushing it out there that you accept whatever is coming towards you, and then enable yourself to grasp that new positive energy, because this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't necessary for you to grow, because we're in that whole time frame now of awakening on this planet.
Okay, great. Next one is from Kristen. I am Pisces, 2/28/71. I've always been able to see and talk with spirits. It saved my life, as many have tried to steal my light. I'm very ill now, not doing well at all. Did they steal my energy?
Wow, that's very interesting that they've tried to steal your energy. There are those types of entities out there that do steal energies because they feed off them. So I'm not sure what your illness might be, and obviously I'm not a doctor, but it is possible that some of your energy would have been drained. And if you get too low in your energy, it can cause you to become quite poorly. So I would suggest that because you're quite a new being as well, if you're born in 71, I would suggest trying to up that energy and find a way to protect yourself so that you don't leak energy out. That makes it easy for beings to start attacking, or psychic vampires to pull that energy off you and get better soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Next question. One moment. Just an easy one here. Just the simplicity of what happens after death. Just that simple question, Bev.
Just a simple one. That's
just a simple
really
one.
good.
Yep, keeping it easy.
Yeah, we keep it easy. So obviously the death construct is just shedding the husk, this organic husk, dropping it, shedding it, and moving on, and having a different energy body. Everybody does enter into an energy body, but what we do after we enter to the energy body is quite different. Some will go into whatever their particular faith might be. They will have what is comfortable to them. They will see what is comfortable to them. Others that are quite different will decide that they want to go to a different planet or a different place, and they don't want to go back onto the reincarnation life cycle. So that's something completely different. Others will choose to remain for a short period of time because they've got unfinished business or they've got something they need to do here before they move on totally. So the cycle of not alive is very different for each person. It really does depend on what your source and soul is saying, because that is what you will follow. You will follow your beliefs.
Okay. Right. We have one from Kaz. I don't know what this means. Is MH370 on Diego Garcia? I don't know what that means.
I'd have to look into that one, Kaz.
All right. Okay, we've done what happens after death. Okay, this one. Good morning from Melbourne. Beverli, you spoke about ETDNA expression affecting behavior. Where does satanic ritual and, well, let's use the word demonic ritual and the big red-skinned horned oofed man, shall we say?
That doesn't look like that anyway, by the way, from what I've seen. But anyway, so what we'll do is, well, firstly, morning in Melbourne. Nice to know that we have someone all the way from Melbourne watching us, which is great. The ETDNA expressions, sometimes they will affect behaviors, but they're generally not from the lower realms. Most of the expressions in the DNA, particularly those that feed off, anger, hatred, those sorts of really strong frequencies, are specific DNA types. So that would be things like reptilians and all the different types of draconians. And in some cases, obviously, the greys, the tall greys, and the others that are really small. So there isn't really a type of alien DNA or junk DNA that would align specifically to the darker realms. And because they don't, when you see them, they don't actually look like that at all. This depiction of what we see in these old masters' paintings of something with horns, etc., looking like that is actually nothing close at all to what they really look like.
Okay, right. Next one from Shannon. Is JLo ever going to be held accountable for her role in Natania Rubin's shooting? That was the young lady who, of course, was
shot in the face.
Yeah.
God bless her. I think that the JLo person at the moment, she's backpedaling big time, and she's trying to utilize all of the positive energy that she's got left in order to move away from being held accountable, because I think she's extremely fearful. But as we know, those energies of fear feed the Dedi type of person and feed others that are around him. But I think that eventually she will need to come forward with her own story, because I think she's avoided it for quite some time. And I think also with the lady that was shot in the face, I think because she's got such positive energies and she's pushing forward to get her story heard and to make sure that the truth is told,
Absolutely.
If that energy stays of light, I think the truth is going to come out.
Okay, so we've got some banger questions coming up. Our first one:
Good.
Has Beverli ever worked for American military? Know of the Patty Brassard, an extreme high spiritual working for them. Any of that makes sense to Beverli? And if
Yeah,
it
does. It does.
Okay.
Yeah. I have worked for the American military. Yes, I have. Sadly, I have done some bits and bobs for them.
There we
And
go.
I know of Patty, yes. And yeah, that's about all I can say, really.
That's about all the paperwork will allow you to say.
Yeah,
all right.
I know.
Okay.
When you sign the Secrets Act, you sign a lot of stuff away.
Yeah. It's no joke. It's no joke.
No, it's not.
It's just enjoy the jail cell. Okay. What does our energy or conscious do when we sleep? Can we lead another life whilst we are asleep? Often I feel like I go to the other here, which is another version of my life. Oh, that's a good one.
That's a banging question. I like that question.
Banger.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yes.
It's a banger.
Well done, Ashley. I like it. Well, our energy and consciousness, we can move out of our bodies quite easily when we sleep. That is a definite. We do, and we can live other lives. There are splitter halves. You do have different types of energies and different lives. Often, I go and check what my other splitter halves are doing.
Yeah.
And there's an older one of myself. There's a younger one of myself. And there's one in a totally different place. And no, I've got one in America because I've seen her quite a bit. And I've seen some in Europe too. And they speak other languages. How clever. So, yes, you can go. And you probably do, Ashley. You probably go to the other here, and you probably do understand and watch what your other person is doing. So yes, for all of it, yes, you do have a splitter half, and yes, you can see them. Yes, you can travel out of body.
Okay, well, look, we're going to just put a pin in the questions for now. Our guest has arrived. Dani Henderson, thank you so much for being here, joining us on Awaken with Beverli Rhodes. I'm Ron Swanson. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for giving up some time and being here tonight.
Of course, my darling. It's my pleasure. Thank you, Ron. Hello, Beverli, darling. Hello to the lovely audience. I'm very happy to be here. It's a real honor for me. Thank you so much.
Well,
it's our pleasure to have you. I mean, you've done such amazing work. I love your book, The Angels, Demons, and Aliens. Love it. Love the fact that it's all true stories and everything is being believed and you're sharing everything. I think it's great. So I'm just going to jump in straight away with a question about the 4-year-old you, where you were almost suffocated by a being from the underworld. Can you share with us and our viewers some of like the key protections and what you felt and what to look for, and more importantly, how to stay safe?
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, first of all, when you just jump in, I've never been on this channel before. You bring some bird on. She sounds like a complete wackadoodle. Okay, I am not a wackadoodle. I only speak from physical experience. That's how I know I can immerse myself and be passionate and assertive in my truth, which is important for all of us. Nothing I talk about, whether it's ETs, aliens, demons, angels, is my fantasy or omming, not making fun of omming. It works for some people, or sitting in prayer or whatever. Everything I have done and do is physical. So my entire life, I have been able to see. Now, a lot of people call that clairvoyance, clear seeing. I've also been able to feel. So I can stand beside an adult. I can feel if they're good, if they're bad. That's called clairsentience, clear feeling. Claircognizance is clear knowing. I've always had an ability, as many people watching, exactly the same as me. Some of us are a bit more practiced, like Beverli and myself, let's say, because we've had to have, survival mechanism turned up really high, because little girls like us, the dark ones, the dark adults, the demons in the adults, the dark ETs, etc., they want to put our lights out very young to stop us being the big light warriors that we are today. So to jump to 4 years old, unless you had a question there, Ron, did you?
No, I was actually, before we got started, was just going to ask you to introduce yourself to the side chat, introduce yourself to the community, let us know a little bit about yourself, just so that we can familiarize ourselves with your skill sets and where you fit into this whole awakening journey. I know what's coming, right? I've seen footage that's coming, right? And I'm telling you now, side chat, you might want to go and get a stiff drink or something, because it's a bit mad, right? Like it's bonkers. It's real. So, Dani, take us through just exactly who you are. I've got your website here as well. I'll bring this up whilst you're talking through. Introduce us to the Daniverse.
Okay, all right. So this is my conference, and it's Galactic Spiritual Informers, because we all have an ET or alien origin, stardust, whatever way you want to put it to yourself. What you're looking at there is the UFO footage, live footage from my last conference, which was September 27th, 2 or 3 weeks ago. There's a little, I don't know if you can hear it, there's a little underneath the regular sound sign. There's
oh my God.
So that was UFOs that we called in, that Elena Denan called in, real ones in the sky above our They're diving down. The sound went off there. They're diving down. So we gave everybody a year's notice. So my conference is Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection. It's the biggest and best disclosure conference on the planet. None of us hold back. We bring the evidence, we bring the craft, we bring the ETs, we bring everybody in this awakening period, which is everyone. It's every one of us. And Ron, the great thing is on this channel, on Sean Atwood's channel, it's lovely for me to be able to say that no system is separate. The P. Diddy, the Meghan Markles, the royalty, the reptiles, everything is crumbling in and basically dovetailing in together. Nothing is separate. So I bring people around the world together who also, like me, have physical evidence. They're not living in la-la or wackadoodle land. There's enough of those out there. We know that. And they stand on stage and they give their true testimony. And it's absolutely incredible. We made world history less than 2 months ago when we'd given the world notice, come to this hotel, the Westin Hotel. It is in a no airplane flyover. No airplanes can fly over the hotel. No drones can fly over that particular hotel. So we said to everyone at my conference, there was 1,000 people, come outside, Upper State tonight, and we're just going to wait and see what happens. And we're going to look up, and oh my bloody God. First of all, a gigantic stealth triangular shaped craft flew low over the crowd and then lit its green lights up underneath. But guess what, Ron? This triangular craft, known as a TR-3B, that the Navy, yes, the Navy created, reverse engineered, they're not supposed to exist. So many things happened that night. The Navy revealed they have these stealth craft made by the military, not the ETs, but it is ET reverse engineered craft or anti-gravity craft. Okay, so that's one thing. Then the spacecraft came over. Now, they weren't unidentified. They weren't UFOs. They certainly bloody well weren't UAPs. Can we please stop saying UAP? I know you just met me, guys. You might seem like I'm a pushy bird, but I'm on a mission and I'm tired of the government's trying to mind wash you in the moment. They're trying to brainwash you and redirect you away from what UFOs are. Okay? Identified flying objects, or what we saw, what you're seeing right there is identified spacecraft, because we knew where they came from. We knew what time they were coming. We know who's flying them. And there are ETs flying those craft. And they look just like me and just like you.
All right, Dani, 1 second, right? So just because you said, I can tell this is about the 10 millionth time you said this, right? And you rattle through it. So just to be clear, right? You arrange a big meeting for fellow awakened chums, right? You all gather and you effectively dial up the spacecraft, right? Metaphorically speaking, and overhead they come on a set date and a set time. So, I mean, that is absolutely incredible. What we're seeing is incredible. And I'm getting that right. I mean, I'm saying this is like an annual event that you guys are doing. It's like you said there was like 1,000 of you, right?
Yes, 1,000 eyewitnesses that came to a conference to see and hear the truth of disclosure in every single system. And we said, at this time tonight, step outside and there will be a fleet of craft. And they came. And what was beautiful was the spacecraft came, the military craft came. So what does that tell us? That tells us that the good ETs that do exist and the good military, because we know there's a shadow government a shadow military, some really bad mudder fudders in every single system.
Dani, you and I are going to be friends, man. I'm telling you. I'm glad. You're speaking my language here, man. Like, tell them all more about the shadow governments and all this, man. I've been trying to tell them for years. You preach it, Dani. Preach it, please.
Well, you know what? It's again, you say preach it. That's quite funny, isn't it? And they go, "Oh, here comes a tinfoil hatter. Oh, be quiet, sit down. We are tired of you. We're tired of religion lying. We're tired of lying." But you know, it's funny because it's funny again, darling Beverli. And again, I want to say to Beverli is a standout human. I'm on my YouTube channel and I bang on and I bring people on with hardly any following at all because I know how important it is. And I say to people when I'm interviewing somebody, please, can you get this person on your channel? Please help them. Please get the truth out. And maybe half a person out of 100 will do it because people are quite selfish about their YouTube channels. But, you know, this lady, Beverli, is giving up time for me because she knows I'm telling the truth. I mean, how lovely is that? And you guys are so open. I've been watching your channel for a few years, but now is the time, Ron. Now it's all together. So ask me that question again. Which bit do you want to know?
Oh, I've already forgotten the question. I've got ADHD. I'm way too involved in this, Dani. Right? You can't. If it's not happening in the moment, I'm going to forget it. I'm blown away. I think everyone's blown away. If I'm being perfectly honest with you. Now, this footage here is mind blowing enough. Do you want me to cut to the next bit of footage and you can talk us through this as well?
Yeah, it would also be good, Dani, if you can sort of, for those that aren't aware of what goes into the arrangements with the off-worlders, it would be good to set the scene for the viewers to explain just what goes into talking to our off-worlder friends to a point so that they know within the 1 year period that is where they would appear in the sky. It would be good to set the context for everybody so that they understand that this is not a set of drones in the sky. This is the real deal, and explain how you got there. Yeah, well, it's all down to one single woman. And actually, that woman was on this channel a couple of years ago, and her name is Elena Danan. And she is an Irish woman who lives in France, who is an ET experiencer, meaning she's been in contact with ETs most of her life. Her story is absolutely horrific, the starting story. But to jump to the good part, she is involved with a military faction of humans. Now, they call themselves humans, but we call them Pleiadians or Syrians or Vegans or Arcturians, although they do look very different, and Andromedans look different. But Pleiadians look exactly like us, so many of them. And again, if people in society haven't been allowed to think for themselves, but they're always told, oh, you idiot. You know, one of the scariest things in the world, Ron, is for a human to be isolated and to be shamed. So when people come forward and they say, I saw a Pleiadian, people are like, you wackadoodle, you nut job. What's wrong with you? You've got the devil in you. That's the Christians. Ooh. You know, it's all bollocks.
That's by design. That's by design, Dani. That's how they rooted the magic out the world.
Yeah, psychological programming and profiling and shaming. Okay, so anyway, so Elena Danan is a spokesperson for this off-world military group, and they are known as the Galactic Federation. Now, Galactic Federation of Worlds. A couple of years ago, a general in Israel came out and confirmed that there was a Galactic Federation of Worlds. Now, unfortunately, there's a PSYOP one. There's one to try and overlap and take people down the wrong road, and that's the Galactic Federation of Light. You can't federate light. The Galactic Federation of Worlds, and it sounds ridiculous. I know how it sounds. It is a collective of personnel from different parts of the solar system that of course exists. And at this point, if anyone doesn't believe that, you need to sit down and have a long sleep, love, because we've already moved past you. You know, I haven't got time anymore. When people go, num, num, num with the Cheetos, prove it. Shut up, we're bored, okay? We're working really hard to get the information out, and idiots keep stopping us. So here we go. Okay, sorry, not sorry. You know, people have to just stop listening and start moving forward with their truth. Galactic Federation of Worlds exists. It is a military faction of different civilizations. Now, even if they look down at us, and some of them do, they think we're the biggest fools in the world. They can't believe how cruel we are. They can't believe how we treat our children. For me, that's the biggest upset. They can't believe how we treat each other, okay? But if something wrong happens on our planet, it's going to affect the very atmosphere in the solar system. You know, once we get above geostationary orbit, which is just above our planet, where all the satellites, the main satellites, the broadcast satellites, you know, it's game on. They have to be aware of protection. But here's the mistake people make. They think that everybody is a spiritual, omnipresent, angelic being. No, they're flesh and blood like us. They're not omnipresent. The people I'm talking about from the Galactic Federation, you know, these are fourth and fifth dimensional beings. We're apparently 3D, third D dimensional beings. So it's of their interest to make sure there are no nuclear wars. They've so many times shut down things. They've so much helped with the hurricanes, the HARP-assisted weather manipulation storms that were going on. Again, people can't understand how that's possible because they've never been shown. They've never been explained. No one's taken the time to explain the science and the technology, you know, so it's not all their fault. It does take a while sometimes, but ETs are real, and we know that. Galactic Federation of Worlds is a real military faction, and they have a vested interest in protecting our planet, okay? And so Elena Danan is a spokesperson and the emissary for them, so she's in direct contact, and I set the stage, I got the hotel, I brought the attendees, Elena brought the craft, and she just happens to be my best friend in the entire universes too, which is helpful. You know, it's quite helpful. But yeah, and like I said, she was already on your planet. Now, I'll tell you who's terrified of Elena Danan, and that's NASA. NASA shit their pants when Elena Danan speaks, because she knows what's going on upstairs. NASA's never going to tell you. It is a controlled environment. And again, I'm going to give people 3 little things here that they may not be aware of. Number 1, NASA was formed on Nazi principles. NASA was formed after World War II with Project Paperclip and Operation High Jump. Now, I can bring proof to you, solid proof, unredacted government documents by you guys looking up Project Paperclip and Operation High Jump. You start there, you're going to see the principles, the foundations of NASA. Of course, there are great people that work there. Of course there are. But largely it's run, and they're going to stop all the information coming out, and they've tried. So we're like, right, NASA, shut up and sit down. We've had enough of you. Boom. So we're coming forward as we have. There's lots of us, not just me. There's lots of us. I can name them all. I can tell you who to look up, who to watch, who to listen to. As an example, Ron, on Earth, we have an earthquake, obviously, because our planet as we know it is Earth. Elena reported a Marsquake and came out on her channel, which is Elena Danan on YouTube, came out on her channel and she said, there was an earthquake, because she's French. There was an earthquake. Thorhan is her contact. Thorhan, tell me there's an earthquake. 2 weeks later, NASA are like, there was an earthquake on Mars, a Marsquake. You know, of course, they had to say something because Elena already put it out. They absolutely, their knees wobble because she ain't stopping either. So we're bringing out information before any of the sciences do. There she is. There she is. Now, you see that banner above her beautiful face, Star Nation News. I want to tell you all, every Monday, 11 o'clock at night in England, unfortunately, but every single Monday, that woman is bringing what's happening in the Sol system, the sun system, the solar system. She is incredible. She just came back from Japan last week. She was speaking there at a massive conference. She's been to Romania at the Busegi Sphinx. There is a Sphinx in most countries on the planet. There are pyramids in pretty much every, and the mysteries have been revealed. We know what the pyramids are. You know, they were pretty much
just before you rush through that, right? Just touch on that, because I'll be honest, I've been too scared to ask Beverli about pyramids in Egypt because I know I'm going to just lose my mind. I fanboy a lot over my own show, Dani. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it all gets a bit much, and I just sort of derail everything. I'm like, forget about the topic, forget about the side chat, tell me about the pyramids, right? So it all gets a bit like that. So just without accidentally derailing me, right? Touch a little bit on, because that's one thing that I've been that's been popping up in my feed a lot, are people going on about the certain alignments of the pyramids, the sizes, how many locations, the ones that are in China, the ones that look like a mountain somewhere that's all grown over. Give us your sort of cliff notes on the pyramids around the world and how just important they are and were.
Okay, well, first of all, you've got to look at the beautiful geometric, perfect mathematical statistics of each cube or each square or each pyramid. And we've got to also recognize that we've been told the legends of, like, you know, the pharaoh Khufu, this huge pyramid was made in his honor. Bollocks. When you look down on the top of that, it's not a 4-sided, it's an 8-sided. It has an indentation. What happens when light hits that? The pyramids are technology. They are ancient technology. Why are there so many tunnels underneath them? If you go to the Valley of the Kings, which I've been to, and the Valley of the Queens, did you know there's a Valley of the Queens, Ron?
No, probably not. I'm pretty bad with remembering names of anything.
But me neither, mate. And because until I went there, then I'm like, why don't they tell us about the Valley of the Queens? Because they want the information dumbed down. So the pyramids are technology, electromagnetic frequencies. The whole planet, and that's what Tesla found out, Nikola Tesla. And Nikola Tesla understood the frequencing of the pyramids on the planet. There are so many different ways to explain it. I'm not an expert. And there'll be people out there screaming at the screen going, what about the turbines and what about the water? But Nikola Tesla, beautiful Nikola Tesla, nothing to do with Elon Musk and his insulting lithium battery electric cars. Be quiet, sit down. Nikola discovered the resonance, the mathematics, the geometry, but he was also from somewhere else. He was also a visionary. I believe he was from an element from Venus, you know, which again can sound wackadoodle going into different realms. But how many people on the planet know they're from somewhere else or have some kind of a feeling? So this technology based around the pyramids is well known in many departments of understanding, but it is kept from us, from the masses. They want us to tell the fables and the legends of Khufu and then his son, and and then the Sphinx was there, and all this absolute annoying nonsense that's kept from us. And it's time to tell the truth now. So just in a nutshell, the pyramids are technology. And to this day, if we'd listened to Nikola Tesla, who continued that, and he built his tower, the Wardenclyffe Tower, he figured out how to work with what he called alternate current or alternative current. We have Thomas Edison, who was backed by JP Morgan, the banker, and Edison wanted direct current, which is let's build a telephone or electrical system in each town, charge the people for electricity, and that's what happened, and that's what we still have to deal with today. Nikola Tesla just figured out how to harness the electromagnetic field that bounces around the planet, harness that, run it through the tower, and it powered up hundreds and hundreds of miles of homes. And again, they wanted to charge us, as they still do today, electric bills, Wi-Fi bills. We never would have had any of that because Tesla figured it all out. That is a fact.
Correct.
Nobody can speak against it because that's the truth. And that poor man was murdered, left to rot, left to rot, called an old eccentric. They took advantage of him because he wasn't business minded. No, he came with an agenda to help the planet. And that's what he did. And to this very day, Marconi used 11 of Nikola Tesla's patents, 11 patents, in order to bounce his RF, his radio frequency, across the ocean. Then took the claim that he was the one that created RF frequency so we could broadcast radio. That's bollocks as well. Why would you use someone's patents? You know what I mean? So, but years later, it was revoked. It was revoked.
Okay, I've got one more quick question for you. But before we do that, can we all, everyone who's watching this, can we like and can we share? My daily show was not on today, and I usually have a bit of a push from my earlier shows. So if you guys can like and share and push this out for us, that would be fantastic. Now, when we talk about history being rewritten and we talk about the secrets being subdued, especially when it comes to hydrogen energy, and especially when it comes to frequencies that can move large rocks, for example. I'm looking at you, man in Florida, who built Coral Castle or whatever it's called. Okay, like, was there a civilization, am I right in saying this, that somewhere around about Russia and China, slap bang in the middle of the border somewhere, right, there was a civilization that had also maintained the secrets of the pyramids. They'd built an incredible civilization with incredible sort of architecture, and it's been sort of eradicated from the history books. But every now and again, its flag seems to pop up in historical references, or an old globe. I can't remember what the hell it's called. Does anybody in the side chat know what I'm talking about?
Tartaria. They're talking about
That's
Tartaria.
the one. Yes, Tataria. I'm so bad with the names. I need to see things. Like, I'm a face person. I remember everyone's face, but I'm terrible with names. Tataria. Can you touch a little bit on that? And I'm sorry to just take us on a side quest. Beverly's like, oh, here he goes. We're side questing. But could you touch a little bit on that for us?
Well, I myself have done a lot of research on it, but I can't find enough that makes me feel happy and solid in what I'm reading, because we have to remember that a lot of people put crap out and they try and take us down the wrong road. But the question is, how on earth did they create the Duomo Cathedral in Florence, or Firenze as it's actually called? How did they develop the Moscow, not the Kraken, what's it called? The Kremlin. How are these incredible, beautiful buildings created in the way that they were? Rosslyn Chapel is another example, but that's different technology right there as well. But you know, we clear, and yet a friend said to me, no, we can do a lot of the carving today. Well, there's a temple in Hawaii that I watched being built since 2000, and these men cut the stones out of the mountain by hand, because if you dynamite, you put the wrong energy frequency into a stone. They shipped by boat from India to the island of Kauai in Hawaii, where I used to live, and they hand built this beautiful, beautiful temple. And you can see some of those what we call Tartarian traits there. So they clearly are, and these are holy men, Swami men, stonemasons. So clearly, there's a mixture of misunderstandings. But then you see this huge, like Duomo cathedral that's 100-foot high with this Florentine pink and green marble, and it's so high. Surely it's made for giants. Why is the door handle all the way up there? There's another legend, Ron. Let's not get started on the giants, mate. And yet you look at old pictures in the 1920s or 30s, and it's all mud floors, and everyone's shuffling around in his little flat cap and his jacket and his horse and cart. How was he going to build that then? With a trowel and a bit of sand, a bit of water, a bit of cement? I don't think so.
What was the name of the building you were just talking about there? Sorry, I should have Googled it. What was the name of it?
Duomo. The Duomo Cathedral in Florence, or Firenze, but Florence. Duomo. Napolitano.
Okay. Oh, wow. You should see how I've tried to spell this. This is outrageous. Right, there we go. Okay. Okay, yeah. All right. So when was this meant to have been built?
Well, who knows? I mean, who knows? But then they have in the same town, they have the David, Michelangelo's David in the same town. You got to do a close-up so you can see the pinks and the greens, and the actual architecture. You really can't see it very well there.
It looks pretty fabulous. That dome seems outrageous. Okay, I'm not going to lie. Like, this dome seems pretty outrageous.
But from the pyramids to this kind of technology, you see the spires, the tall spires on the top. So again, with Nikola Tesla's technology, we could harness the sound, the wind. We could create. Oh my gosh, there we go. There's something really beautiful.
That's mad.
Yeah, and then the doors are massively high. Beverly, darling, I'm talking so much. I'm sorry.
That's all right. You carry on talking. It's always great to see someone who's just as enthusiastic.
Oh yeah, Ron gets yappy. Ron gets questiony and yappy. He does. But it's fascinating, and there's even further mysteries when it goes to the architecture and hidden histories in some American states and cities. Is there not a military base off the south, off one of the coasts of America? What the hell is it called? Fort something or other. And they can't quite figure out why that's there, because it's made with bricks, and it's one of these oddities, but it probably doesn't fall into this. But I mean, when you were talking about history being erased and overwritten, I just had to touch a little bit on the pyramids and these lost civilizations. I wanted to get your take on it. Let's circle back round if we're ready to watch this piece of footage. And this is breaking news: UFO flyover from Alina Danan. Danan, is that right?
Elena Danan.
Elena Danan, yeah. Galactic Spiritual Informers Conference with Dani Henderson. And this was just a month ago, right?
September 27th, 2024.
This is mental, okay? The one on the website is impressive enough, but it looks like it was obviously uploaded and then filmed on a potato. Compared to this, this is some 4K madness that you're about to witness here.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk us through this? Is it got sound? I didn't see if it had. Yeah, it's got some sound, right? So,
it does. So what you're looking at here is night vision footage. So there's 1,000 people outside the hotel. We're all laying down, and we start because you can see it much clearer. Night vision footage. So it's either me shining that laser or Dr. Michael Sala. A lot of people know Dr. Michael Sala. He's all over the smelly telly. Ancient Aliens, all of the big, paranormal, alien, ancient history. It's me and him doing the laser. We're not shining it in the lights of the pilots. It looks like it, but we're flashing it up, and they're flashing green lights back. Okay. And there's like on my YouTube channel, which is what you're looking at there, and that footage, it's like 3 minutes plus of it all linked together for everybody. And so I can't see it very clearly from my end because my screen's quite small. But you can see it. And they're 62 miles up, and that was out of respect for the normal rules and regulations, because we had NORAD. NORAD are right there. They'll shoot anything down. NORAD over a no-fly zone, which is where we are. This is where they're flying directly over. No-fly zone, no drone. NORAD's there. We've got Denver Airport one side. You've got the Boulder Airport near the ski resort the other. I mean, talk about the most restricted space,
I think Wendy summed it up for us perfectly, right? Like, that is look, zooming in now. This is where it gets mental. Look at this madness.
Yeah, the craft came together, and then they dove down, and you can hear a little boy saying, "Whoa, look at them split apart." It's so exciting.
Oh man, the worst thing is that we kids going into school on Monday, no one's believing him, right? Until they see this video. I'm telling you that right now.
He's a lucky kid. His mum and dad homeschool him, so he's getting a proper education.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, that's the one. Sorry, I'm still in the flabbergasted zone, so you'll need to forgive me right now, because this is pretty incredible.
Yeah, and it should have made world news, and you can't believe the asshats that are trying to block it and people writing against it, and so you can soon see who the disinformers are. Go.
So what? Listen, let's talk about this seriously, right? So from a powers, let's just say powers that be. We won't worry about the secret governments, anything like that. We'll just say the powers that be. What is with the control of the information? Beverli spoke about a no-fly. We were a no-fly zone, and there's all these things that a lot of people don't really truly know even exist. What is it that is the big suppression of information? What is it that they're controlling our knowledge of this for? I mean, it might just be an obvious answer, but what's your take on the denial up until this point?
Beverli, you want to go first? I feel like I've taken up most of the air in the room.
No, I was talking about the that Earth itself. It used to be a no-fly zone, and the off-worlder that I channel and speak to a lot, Da'ar has said that it was a no-fly zone many years ago, and at a certain time, the decision was made that they would be allowed, those off-worlders would be allowed to start coming to Earth in a controlled environment and making sure that it was controlled. And I think that's probably where you come in, Dani, is to explain with the galactic world what they're saying and how that was allowed to come into the Earth space, because that's now only recently over the last 2 years.
Well, you've got to go back as well down the timeline to the ancient carvings in every single country on the planet where we have UFOs. They're there. We have strange-looking ant people with tentacles, and the people have seen on the inner Earth. And this has been reported in all of time. But there was a real aggression to ET craft flying over, because there's been this program called Project Bluebeam, where the governments in the world want to pretend that we're being attacked, so that everyone goes, oh, government, please help me. I'm a defenseless little nothing and I need your help. Now, with all the satellites that have been thrown up, you know, what's happened is there's so many satellites, some link it to Elon Musk, some link it to others. You know, we see these strands, and I worked in the space industry in satellite manufacture, so I do have a bit more knowledge than most people in that arena. And what they've done, the neptards, I call them, nepotists, the real retarded brains are the ones at the top, you know, thought we were all going to succumb to their will. But there is now what's known as a Skynet, and it actually does make sense. When you go up, you know, they go through the ionosphere, which is the layer above just immediately above that. I wish I had my Earth behind me, because I can normally show the image.
Did you just say Skynet? You just say Skynet?
Skynet. Yeah, so now there's a Skynet. So they can point all the satellites together, right? RF and microwave. They can bounce, and they can basically have the biggest film projector in the entire sky. And they can throw up your jumping Jesus, your jumping angels, your scary reptilians that aren't here, your nasty greys that I don't believe are here anymore. They were.
No, they're not here anymore. They've been moved off the planet. They're not here at all.
Thank you, because you know, some people are having a hard time accepting that, you know, that they're not eating children underground at the moment, and the reptilians aren't doing the same. And I believe that too. I've been told that on several layers. So thanks, Beverly. You're another person
they've been removed. They're not there. They're not in any of their underground layers and areas. They've all been moved off planet. They've been actually given, believe it or not, the R says that they were given a whole new planet to themselves, and they willingly left here and populated a whole new planet, which is just for them.
You got to get Elena Danan on and listen to her talk about the hive queen, the hive consciousness that the great aliens were all plugged into. It's coming out tomorrow on my channel. A whole thing about they found fleets of dead grey aliens that were going to come here and take over. Can you imagine? Idiots.
Yeah.
They look, they're the ugliest little things. They smell like fart, and that's an absolute truth. They get zero respect because they wanted to kill us and take us over. You know, there are people, they go, oh, let's be compassionate. Balls, let's be compassionate when the war is won. Okay, stop being a hero and reading the Bible and doing what everyone's, turn the other cheek. We turned the other cheek and it got us in trouble. Okay, so
I'm not on the compassion team. Don't worry, I'm very much the hammer of justice team, like Hulk smash. That's where I'm sitting with all this.
Slap their chops, and that's it. Let's get on with it.
Mess with our human family, you're going to get your ass kicked. And those that don't want to get involved, sit down. Those that keep getting in the way, get out of the way. You know, I call it the galactic train, Ron. And because the galactic area is so trendy right now, people are saying, I'm the commander of all the ships in the sky. Prove it. You know, bring your ships then. Bollock chops. Come on.
Wait. So are you telling me, right, that there's alien ship summoning faker clout chasers in this whole realm?
Yes, we are saying that.
There's some dude who's like, hey guys, I can summon the best Starfleet in the universe, okay? You want to come on and see my Starfleet?
Oh, yes.
I'm telling you now.
Absolutely.
We've
seen them and we've called them out and we've loved.
I need to find, you know, one of them have got an old school blog, not a vlog, you know, one of them still on WordPress, slapping out their views. Oh man.
I'll tell you one of them later, because there's one that I found out, and it's very obvious disinformation.
Yeah, and they come after me and Elena Danan with death threats. Seriously, it's been really, really rough ride, because they want to be the galactic commander, and she's got zero interest. And here's the tell too. Why would we put ourselves on the front line? Because of course there's ridicule and attack, and of course the government has everything. Of course they do. But these silly boys that came out, one was like, I'm a 48-strand DNA super soldier. I've been enhanced. No, you ain't, mate. In your dreams. Shut up. And I won't even say I'm not even going to say his name.
No,
Oh
don't
my
say
God.
his name.
Please,
No.
if any 48 strand super soldiers are watching, please leave me a comment, because I'm telling you now, I want to hear your sales pitch. I want to hear I want to see your little cape that you've made for yourself, your wee galactic cape that you've made, okay, and your little badge. I want to see it all, man, because I'm telling you, you have done a lot of basement dwelling. Because you always get fakers and everything, right? I mean, there's fakers in everything, right? But it's quite interesting when you have come here. We've met for the first time, and you've slapped your receipts down hard on the table, Dani. Right? It's like, oh, you want to see? Oh, you want to see just the last time I summoned the ships? Wow! Just you see what I'm saying? Like, it's mad. It's mad, right? So
True,
I'm
Ron.
fascinated that people try and fake this.
I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth, and there's the evidence. I set the stage. Elena Denan bought the craft, and it's these silly boys that go against her. And I'm not going to say their names either, although one of them thinks he's Enlil, and Enlil pretended to be certain gods in the Bible. Enlil was an ancient Anunnaki Sumerian death person, and Lil destroyed Lemuria, ancient Lemuria, and Lil destroyed Atlantis. And Lil was trying to take a dump and take over our, again, because some of these, well, it's such a long story to go into. Anyway, so this bollock chop, the one that kisses his guns and thinks he's all that in a bag of chips and a 48-strand DNA super soldier, he said that he is the avatar of Enlil. I'm like, oh my God, that's like saying you're Hitler. Like, really? But he's that dumb. You know, he is.
I had to laugh at him. Seriously, I just had to laugh at him.
Do you know, put a one in the side chat if for Christmas we put together a compilation of cringe fake Astral Warrior 48-strand TikTok posts, and we do a compilation reaction of the cringiest fakers on the internet. Because I'm telling you now, right? I've got massive respect for Beverli. I've got massive respect for you as well, Dani. But these are serious. I mean, like, Beverli's serious. Like, it's like we could sit here doing a podcast, like, oh, it's all fun and games at Beverli. Beverli uses her mind to find people and things. She leaves her body. It's no joke. It's no joke.
We've got to say, Ron, we have to say our success this week. We have to say what our success was. I've got to say it. I'm not going to say the names, but I'm going to say that as a direct result of our remote viewing and our information, fortunately, we saved a child that was trafficked to a place called Colombia.
No.
And she's been removed and taken home to America. She's safe and sound. So we're doing our job.
Wait. Are you serious? So that's the one we're talking about. That's the one, right? That's the one.
That is the one. Yes. If you have a look, the person, our contractor said they're going to fetch her, and they fetched her yesterday.
Shut. Okay, everyone just take a second. Everyone just breathe. Everyone just breathe.
Yeah. She's safe. She's home.
Like, I'm actually shaking, right?
Oh, yeah.
That is. It's just when you guys hear about this, right? When you guys hear about this, none of you are going to believe it. None of you, right? None of you. I'm telling you, it's so. Actually, I don't even know what the word is. Incredible is not the right word. Flabbergasted is not the right word. I don't know what the word is. I don't know what the word is. Calm down, Ron, please. How dare you, Jeanette? Okay, how dare you? I'm fanboying out. You were all warned. Okay, that's incredible, right? So, Beverli, we'll talk about that after.
Okay.
Dani, so we've had a little bit of fun there with the cloud chasers, right? But it's super serious stuff, and we all know how serious it all is. And I don't think anyone here, for a start, anyone who Beverli brings to the show, right? You automatically get taken seriously in my books. Do you see what I'm saying? Because of how serious I take, everything that Beverli does. So I'm just amazed at this, because one thing that is often I often say is there's Hollywood kind of ruined the magical realm for making people believe in things. There's no fireballs, there's no cool electricity that comes out of your hands, all of this. Well, yeah, anyway. But when you bring a visual like this, right, and people get to see this it's just mad, right? What was your first experience like? What was it like for you when you finally achieved this for the first time? Like when everything fell into place. I mean, it must have created a drive to just tell the world. Has that drive to tell the world about this, has there been any pushback? Has there been hindrance? Has the men in black come and flash penned you at any time? Like, what is the realities of knowing this?
Are you asking me, Ron?
I am asking you.
Yes,
Just
we're asking you.
making sure it's to be able to prove in the tight conditions that we did, because people want proof. I want proof. Don't just tell me, show me. And so here we are, right? I mean, people know us by our actions, and that, I think, for everybody, all the new governments, etc. We know you, we see you by your actions. End of story. It was amazing. Although when I came back from America, because I just moved back to England, someone let all 4 of my tires down on my car. And I'm like, well done, you know, because, well, big men doing that. They wanted to let me know they know where I live, you know, woo, you know, be quiet. You know, honestly, I am so like over that, you know, and being, you know, hunted and tormented and threatened. And, you know, clearly, it doesn't stop me. And the fact is, if someone did kill me, I'd come back and haunt them. I have those skills and I'm not scared to use them. You know, so you get to a point where you just have to use everything that you have. Now, the secret space program, the SSPs, it is a very, very serious aspect of the military. It is billions and billions of dollars, trillions actually at this point. You know, when the Americans go, the government goes, we lost $30 million. We don't know where it went. It went bloody underground. It went into reverse anti-gravity machinery. It went into torture programs for children. And I can name a person, you should get him on your channel, and Beverli knows him too. He spoke at my conference. His name's Tony Rodriguez. When he was a little boy, he was kidnapped. He was sold into the American military. They used him at a California airport called Inyo Kern. And to this day, this is the arrogance of these people. They used to have these children, and it's horrible information, guys. And please don't have children in the room, okay? Because it's not nice what I'm going to tell you. This is a secret space program, a child torture program. There are many all over the world.
We need to watch what words we use. So when it comes to, we'll just say T for that word.
T.
T. Yeah, we've got YouTube is a nightmare, right?
I
it's
know.
a nightmare.
I know.
So we just gotta watch what we're saying.
It's boob tube, Ron. Boob tube. Anyway, so this little boy was put into a program, and then they were kept in these mobile homes, little mobiles, all in little cots together, drugged to the point of what we call NDE, near-death experience, while they were being analyzed for their psychic abilities when they're in between worlds. And they called it science, and it was paid by the American government. A lot of the children were unalived in that situation. And Tony Rodriguez barely survived. He was then, once he was used up in that, he was then sold into a satanic family and saw absolutely things beyond explanation, which I can't say here. But in his book, but you again should get him on. I mean, I've had him on my channel when we've shared the whole lot. I've had him on stage at my conferences 4 years running, 3 years running. This is the 4th one coming up. And he tells this, you know, his real experience. So when we joke about these silly boys trying to be commanders of the universe, you know, we can mock, and I do mock, and we'll continue. But it's not funny for the real survivors of these horrors, which I believe, Beverli, you also have some direct insight into the SSP, don't you, darling?
Yeah, and then that's the big deal. Is it's hard enough for a survivor just to survive, but then to have individuals that when you hear their story and you ask them questions, you realize, hang on a minute, this person has never experienced what I've experienced, because they're not even able to explain or provide the background to things that we know take place. And they would be able to explain the background and what was around them, the cages and all sorts of other things. They would be able to say exactly that, because if they were true survivors, they would have that knowledge. And as hard as it is to talk about it, they still would be able to talk one survivor to another and explain what happened to them. And you then have this camaraderie because you all survived. And when I had the discussions with Tony Rodriguez, we had a common aspect between us. We understood because we both knew exactly what we were talking about and what we'd each been through. And that's why they irritate me when we have these fakers out there, because I just want to say to them, for goodness sake, just go and do one.
Yeah, because it's really harming. It's harming the reality. And
Yes.
then the government, they bank on that. They bank on everyone arguing and fighting. And that's what happens. It's like the SRA survivors, same thing. I had Kathy O'Brien on, Rachel Vaughan, and Gloria Masters last week. And it was a historical broadcast with these women who've taken down the government, American government, and then there's a group of women who said they've gone through that harming, let's call it harming, awful, it's terrible. But then they're attacking these women who are standing out and naming people in the government. It's like, oh my goodness. But this is the social engineering that everybody again needs to be aware of. So we are all socially engineered and hard programmed. People go, no, I'm not, especially us Brits. Well, like, what do you mean I'm programmed? No, I'm not, sorry, but it was hard for me to get over my ego, but I have, and some of us have to. It's so clever. They are so clever. The one-celled amoebas at the top, the soulless ones, the heartless ones. It's genius. The psychology, the psychosis, the psychometry, all of it. What they've done to humanity to make us feel less than, to turn on each other rather than say, oi, hang on, there's 5 of you and 5 billion of us. Get out the way. That's what we should be doing. But I believe we are now. I think humanity really has gone, woken up from the slumber, the Sleeping Beauty slumber, and gone, hold on a second, I'm an amazing human. My people are amazing humans. What the hell do the government think they're doing? Why are they genociding all people through the winter in Britain? They do it every year. Why does the same old government, same old spiel? Oh, Labour left a right mess. Oh, the Conservatives left a right mess. Let's all laugh at the jumping, leaping Green Party. That was funny when they were all leaping and crossing their legs. Do you remember that? Okay, that was funny. But the point is that we've allowed it as a humanity. We allow the government year in, year out. I've watched it for 5 decades now. I'm in my 50s. 5 decades of the same people saying, oh, they left such a mess. Shut up. You're all fired. You're all rubbish. You're all corrupt. Obviously, move along and let's have councils of justice where the people speak for the people. No more godheads. No more single leaders. It doesn't work. Oh dear, I'm getting into the lecture there, but it's how I feel.
Yeah.
Well, I think we will see that now, particularly next year, we will find with the shift that's taking place, particularly the planetary shift, that energy now is changing and people will start coming into their power, the source power, into the soul. That awakening is taking place and there's more and more and more lights going on, people waking up across the world. And that is what we want. And these are the people that will start standing up and saying, no, I'm not going to stand for this nonsense anymore. I want to be the powerful being that I am. I just know that I can live my best life and I can be everything I can be, because you can. But people are going to realize that this is possible very, very soon.
The fact is, somebody might be saying, why is Ron talking to 2 women who are talking about UFOs and aliens? Because it's all connected. Everything on this channel, nothing is separate. The ETs, the ones at the top, the reptilians and the greys, we were working with the governments, the 1950s, abducting people. Our planet's in trouble. We need genetic material. A prime minister, what they call him, President Dwight Eisenhower, right? The Dwight Eisenhower administration. Again, it's all provable. What I'm saying is history. Okay, you can prove it. Okay, there's your starting point. Project Paperclip, Operation High Jump, Dwight Eisenhower, Majestic 12 or Majority 12. That was his cabinet. Those arsewipes made a deal behind Dwight Eisenhower's back, and they did a deal to take technology from grey ETs who said their planet was dying and they needed to take genetic material so they could hybridize with genetics from humans and save their species. That's how the deal was done. They took millions of people over the years, abducted millions, okay? And the government's allowed it. Where's the technology for humanity? The military took it. The billionaires took it. That's how some of them became billionaires. So that little group of fetid turds took what was ours. And that's what's been happening. They sit in government and they carve up. The carving up, they put them into principalities. They put them into quadrants. They put them into sectors. There are a bunch of deadheads who have decided which country gets what, who gets what money, who gets what industry, who gets what business, who gets what deal. And the rest of us are cattle. Would they literally call us human meat or human cattle? You know, and when people realize, I know it's devastating.
I think the best term I've ever heard was what do they call us? Blood sacks. That's the other thing that I heard that's the other. And obviously we're slaves because we feed them the energy that is required, which is the negative energy, the fearful energy, and keeps us all sort of, those that are enslaved will just keep on making the money, paying the taxes, breeding. But I think that that's going to be quite a difficult one to continue with, because I've noticed when I have had a look across the world at different countries, the energy, the breeding energy has dropped to below acceptable levels. So we're now sitting at where it was meant to be the 2-1. It's now sitting below 2. It's sitting at 1. In some countries, it's even less than 1, which means there will not be enough population to continue the species in that particular country. And the reason is that I think individuals have realized they are being bred for slavery. And that's what we're doing. We're just feeding the coffers all the time. But if we stand up in our own power and make our own choices, things will start changing.
You know, it's conversations like this that obviously help people awaken, and they got to sit with their belief system, because their belief system literally is being shattered. And it's all right, because we all recover. I did, Beverli did, Ron will. You know, Ron's on a really good journey, a long way forward. I see that in you, Ron, obviously. But once we remove the greys and the reptilians, then you have the top layer of the satanics, the satanic occult. You have the demons that live inside the bodies of people like P. Diddy, you know, and the others, Jay-Z. You look at all those people at the top, who are being controlled. You know, they're put out at the front. Bill Gates, the serial killer Fauci, Clown Schwab, all those hideously ugly looking people. It's not nice to call someone ugly, but when you know someone's evil, they can't hide the evil on the outside of their face. George Soros, all those ugly mofos, motherfudders. Apparently, they're attached to what's called a brotherhood, a satanic brotherhood. Now, I don't have any proof on that, but there's 4 or 5 people that claim that that's true. Moving along. So when we recognize that the ETs have gone, the ones that were keeping us and eating us and, you know, abducting us, then you've got the level that's running the world. Yeah. And then they have done deals to sell their soul to Satan, because ultimately what we're looking at is a battle between good and evil. And I'm not a Christian, but I met Jesus when I was 7. It's in my book. I met him when I was 7 years old. So I know he's real. I know he's a physical man as well. Okay, no one can tell me different, but I'm not a Christian, and neither was he. Christianity came way after him. People get so carried away, don't they? But anyway, so is it against Satan wants to take over. One of the greatest things he did was pretend he never existed. Now, there is a core percentage of people that run our planet who worship the devil. They worship Satan, Lucifer. Bohemian Grove, everything you heard about it is true. And guess how I know that as well? Because I don't just like listen to something. I go, right, who do I know? Who can I contact? How can I find out? My friend, Kathy O'Brien, one of the worst books I ever read in my whole life was her book, how she was used as a little girl in the worst possible ways by her whole family, in the worst ways, the things you should never do to a child. And then she was sold to the CIA, who used her for filming little girls and little boys with adults, okay? And they sold those. The CIA did that. The CIA did that to Kathy O'Brien. Anyway, she was then used as a sex mule, a spy, and it was in the administration of Reagan. Now, the amount of names that she names of people who are still in high positions of government in America is shocking. The book is called The Transformation of America. And
The Transformation of America. Okay.
Yes. And her name is Kathy with a C, and it's O'Brien with an E. And she's a dear friend of mine, a close friend, and it is shocking. Now, I just got an energy whack there, a real bad energy whack, because people are worried. How far is Dani going to go? What's she going to say? I'm telling it all. I'm telling it all, you know, because it's time. You know, and you've got a big audience, and Kathy O'Brien is somebody that we should be listening to. I had her on my channel the other day with Rachel Vaughan from Australia. Anyway, so again, the ETs, the bad ETs that aren't here, the negative occult satanic worshippers, the humans who've done deals with the devil and let demons use their physical vessels. Yes, they do. Oh, yes, they do. And that's why I'm saying it's all connected. It's all linked. And that Diddy boy, I feel so sick. I feel so not. And I look at him, it's almost like I can smell him. Disgusting. But you know what that's like, Beverly. Some of us, oh, there, look, my darlings. There's Kathy in the lower right corner. That's Kathy O'Brien. The girl above her with the red hair, that's Rachel Vaughan, whose dad was a high sermonic child harmer, taking children off the...
I feel like I recognize Rachel Vaughan from somewhere.
Oh, yeah. You should get them all on. Then that lady on the far left at the top, that's Gloria Masters. And she's New Zealand. So we've got New Zealand, Australia, America. And then lower left screen, that's my friend. And her name is Shanti. And her real name is Chantel Mayberg. Her YouTube channel is called Aquarius Rising Africa. She's in South Africa.
Yeah, she is.
Oh my God. She does so much heavy lifting. There she is. She's a beautiful being. She brings on people who have satanically survived. She does some real heavy lifting. Guys, you want to go on her channel too. I'm always bigging her up, Shanti. You know, it'd be good if
Shanti can also make some comments about specific schools that are owned by billionaires in South Africa, and perhaps also shed some light on when all of that is going to come into the public domain, because we know full well which celebrities own schools and why they own schools and what they're using it for, because they utilize it for trafficking, not just of children, but also the unwanted pregnancies that take place with these children. They also use it to traffic those unborn babies.
We need to say transporting.
Transported, yeah. Those that have been transported and moved around. That is all very much part of the same energies that I know to exist in South Africa.
Gloria Masters has been on this channel a couple of times. I just remembered. You can see her name there, but that lady, that's Kathy O'Brien, who we're looking at. The redhead is Rachel Vaughan. That bird there is me. But yeah, and Shanti. Yeah, no, it's awful. I'll only talk about things I absolutely, truly, deeply know about, you know. So I don't know about the South African schools and what you mentioned there, Beverly. I've got no information on it, my darling. So I can't respond to something I don't know, you know.
But it would be good to talk through some of the aspects that I'm fully aware of, having lived out there for so many years. And I think that we would probably find that some of the names that I know and some of the names that she knows will probably be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Well, listen, at this point, everybody, right now we're at the high levels of flabbergasted. If we can do one more round of liking and sharing, make sure you're subscribing. Dani's links, Beverly's links are all in the description as well. Their websites will be appearing on screen in just a moment. But if you guys can push this out for us, because I'm not being funny. Why, just to circle back to the ships, right, for a start. Why isn't this front page news? I think we all know why it's not front page news, but you know, at the same time, why is this not front page news? And what do you think the plan is here? I mean, we're all seeing, before we seen your footage right now in the USA, there is an unprecedented amount of stuff going on in the skies. And it's like multiple angles of the same bit of footage. And, you know, if supposedly thousands of people seen something that happened naturally or you know, over Vegas or an air base, and there's only one bit of footage from one angle, and you've got 10 bits of footage from loads of different people from different angles, it gives a lot of credibility. And that's what we're seeing happening now, but we're seeing it being wiped off the internet at an exponential rate. Who are these little scallywags, right, that obviously are flying about trying to tell somebody something, that don't seem to be playing the ball that the powers that be here, I feel the powers that be would rather they didn't? Or is this the dipping of the toe from our powers that be and telling them to go and do little flybys to kind of soften the greater masses being told about ETs and extraterrestrial life and all of this? Because I think for some people, there's so many levels to this. There's the dimensional, there's the spiritual, there's the demonic, there's the physical beings, there's the energy beings, there's the elemental. There's so much for people to take in. I think the one thing that people have had rammed down their throat the longest, whether it's movies, whether it's conspiracy theories, whether it's their own experiences, is unexplained lights in the sky. Throughout history, we've seen carvings on walls of what look like, you know, spacemen with masks on and all these things. What do you think is going on right now with the lights in the sky, and is it part of a plan to soften the blow for the masses? Is there will there ever be a great reveal? Because
yes,
yeah,
but the government aren't going to do it. What we're doing, people like me, we're ensuring that we're taking that power away. We have decided that they had one job. They had one bloody job, every government, and that's no homeless, no hungry, and no cold. Okay, to just start there. They failed. We know they lie. They forgot their servants. Yeah, they serve themselves. So now, one thing I really want to emphasize is I have zero respect for authority, and I will bang on, and hopefully other people will go, do you know what? That's right. Move along. They're trying to control this Project Bluebeam to make it all scary aliens. The aliens have been working and living amongst us for hundreds of years. It's not new. The aliens are here. The governments, the American government, 1952, were working in tandem with the ETs. Oh, we're going to work with the ETs. Oh my God, you bloody liars. You've been doing it for over 50 years. I'm so tired of all the lies, honestly. There's a photograph of the White House, and there's a fleet of craft flying over. Very famous photograph. Let me tell you who's flying those UFOs. It's the Nazis. Oh, yes, the Nazis. The Nazis that didn't stand trial at the Nuremberg trials. The Nazis that came over on Project Paperclip, where hundreds and hundreds of von Braun came over, the rocket maker, the scientists, all of these people came over. They were dispersed, some to the ancient underground city in Antarctica. Just because you haven't heard of it and you haven't seen it, it doesn't mean it isn't there and it hasn't existed, guys. Because people go, well, I've never heard of it. Well, no, of course you haven't. Everything you watch is controlled. Every media aspect is controlled. And so that famous flyover photograph, it's Nazis, it's Germans. And that's also bleeding into what we call Operation High Jump, where there was a man, Admiral Byrd, that was exploring Antarctica, which you still can't do a flyover. Why do we have to take bloody hours?
You can't do anything. It's not even that you can't do a flyover. You can't even just fund up your own trip there. It's proper sealed off. It's wild. Sorry, I just jumped in.
But you can RV it. You can actually do a co-location remote view. You can do that as long as you're only in, like I did, when I went in to go and have a look at various specific items, artifacts. I did a very short, sharp, co-located remote view of an area, one of the bases in Antarctica, clocked what I needed to clock and got out. You can do that because they can't stop you. They can try and follow you, which they tried to do. They tried to piggyback on my signal. But then what I did is I went back to a house in Twickenham in London and jumped from there and came back to my house in Kent because they ended up in the house in Richmond. They thought that that's where I was.
It's kind of like a VPN, right? Like
you're bouncing it. Same thing. Exactly, Ron. Right. Exactly that. But we can do that. And we can also do, if we wanted to, if we had enough volunteers, we could actually do a mass remote view where all of the energies are linked to each other, and we do a mass remote viewing session, and we go and have a look at Antarctica, and let's see them deal with that.
So I had to throw an image to you ladies, right? So there's been lots of footage over the years of supposed aliens, autopsies, all this stuff. We all know the famous black and white fake footage one that was made in some guy's basement, all this stuff. But there's another one, right? And it's sort of resurfaced recently, and I've got a still image from it, and I just want to bring it up on the screen now. I don't know if you've seen the interrogation of the alien footage, whether or not this is real or not. I just wanted to get your guys' take on it because it's I've seen a lot of the footage of this, and there's two different versions, right? And
Yeah.
the alien in them looks very like similar to this, but I don't know. It seemed awfully creepy, right? I'm not going to lie. It
I
was
can't
very.
see an energy signature there, in all fairness. I
You can't.
can't see an energy signature at all. But we will say this is meant to be a grey from what I can see.
Yeah.
And let's remember, greys don't have souls. There's no souls there. They're not enlightened beings. They don't have a path. They don't have any of that. There's no
Yeah.
source. That's source and soul that's been put into it. So it's probable that that's why there's no energy signature.
I'll try and get the footage whilst we're continuing on with the show, right?
What do you think, Dani?
Well, two things. Number one, you're right. They're synthetic doll bodies. They're connected to what we call a hive consciousness. So they're programmed, they're robotics. And if you look at its eyes, I saw a man once, I think it was on this channel, who said the greys wear these black eyes to scare us. When you take the eyes off, they're actually blue and they're quite cute. Well, but if you look at it, that's a light reflection. No biological, is going to be able to, it's just, it feels so off to me. It feels so fake to me. And a guy wants me to interview him about this ET. He's written a book and everything. And he's done so much research. Yeah. I'm open-minded. I just haven't seen enough proof. I can't connect to it. I can't sentiently feel it. But like Beverli said, it's they don't have souls, but
no souls. No, it's just it's not even biological. It's a totally synthetic. So
yeah.
I'm sorry, this is from 15 years ago. This will have been the one that I've seen. This is roughly when I've seen, maybe not this exact copy, but the time frame. I'm going to play a little bit of this, and I'm sorry, side chat, I'm fanboying. I'm allowing myself 8 minutes of derailing fanboy nonsense, right? And this is something that I want to get an answer for. So it's 3 minutes long.
Is it Skinny Bob? Is this the one they called Skinny Bob they were on?
It could be.
I think it was, yeah.
It's kept dark for the comfort of the aliens. The figure who is just barely visible in the left foreground is the telepath, and behind the camera is a raked seating area for observers. Although in this case, I believe the only other person present was a military aide.
Dude, that is creepy, right? Real or not, that's creepy.
But it's a hive individual, so whatever you're going to get through and the consciousness from it is going to be a hive mind anyway, because that's where it's controlled. It can't think for itself. It can't feel for itself. It's a total synthetic. You might as well have something that's made from a synthetic material walking around with a generic impulse in its head, because it's getting its impulses from the main matrix. It's not alive at all and doesn't have a soul. It can't think for itself. It has to be told what to do.
Yeah, it is a creepy bit of footage. There's other interviews with this alleged being as well, but that was one that stuck out in my brain from years ago that I just wanted to get your take on. And
yeah, it's a synthetic grey is my take on it.
But here's the thing, right? Would you get the same reading, right, from something that was soulless? From, say, if you put a grey and a mannequin in a room together, right? But in saying that, the grey's alive, so I guess it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I could feel both of those. But the thing is, you can also trace. So when you connect to something, you can then follow its signature or its signal to where it's, to its point of source. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But a dead, inanimate mannequin would be completely flat. There would be nothing to connect with, no electromagnetic frequency to connect with whatsoever.
What I use as an analogy there, other than a mannequin, that's where my brain went. Just so you know, I don't know why I used.
It's a good analogy, Rob.
It's a good analogy, because also remember that, like when I was looking at various things for Turin Shroud and other things, if a mannequin was touched by a human being that left their energy signature on a mannequin, because they're dressing it and putting the wig on and all that sort of thing, then you'd probably pick that up. But as Dani says, it would be as flat as a pancake.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So if anyone was looking for any new faces to attach to their night terror demons, just look on the screen right now, and you are welcome for that addition to your nightmares.
Never to be forgotten. Oh dear.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I tell you what, it's weird. It's you were talking about you had a rush of energy earlier, Dani. I'm still trying to find sort of pinpoint a lot of the things that go on. A lot of people brush things off very easily. They don't really look into why they feel a certain way or why certain things make them feel a certain way and all the rest of it. And there's certain people that I get that with, if you know what I mean. I get this instant need to investigate further, if that makes sense. And I'm not trying to shape it as I know they're a good person or I know they're a bad person, but it's almost like there's things that I need to discover, but I don't know why or what they are from a signal given from another person, if that makes sense. That makes sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah.
But at least you're questioning, which means you're awakening, you're questioning.
Well, this is a new thing, right? It's different when it's in person, but now it's starting to happen through internet conversations and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, it's interesting. It's fascinating. Oh, I've got a set of oracle cards as well. Crow-based oracle cards, which are interesting. If I'm going to be honest, I'm having a lot of fun with them. So,
have we got any questions from the side chat? That is for Dani, myself, for yourself, so that we can answer as many as possible as we can.
About another half hour, everybody. So get your questions in. I'm going to start rattling out some of the ones from earlier. That we're still.
I better get my glasses on because I won't be able to read it otherwise.
Right, let me get you guys here.
I can't even see it. All I can see is you two. I can't even see the side.
Yeah, don't worry.
It'll come up at the bottom.
We did
when Ron posts it.
Oh, here we go. Your soul therapy is going in hard. Have you ever remote viewed any of the cloning facilities in the US or around the world? Let's go.
Yes, I have done a remote viewing, and I had to hairtail out of there rather quickly. I went looking for specific types of clones because I had been told that there was a group of clones being created for a specific task. And I'm sure Dani will know who I'm referring to. And they were being created. And that's how come I know that they are soulless and that they are bioenergetically created. And they're synthetic, and that's part of the cloning facilities, and it's rather large actually. There's one in the US, but there are many others around the world.
Do you know, when I hang out with my normal world friends, right, I feel like I know what I'm talking about, right, with all of this subject. And then whenever I come to my own show, I feel like a dumbass, right? I feel like I know nothing, right? And I love it. I love it. I'm here for it. Don't worry. I'm here for it. I'm really here for it.
Saying, Ron, there's two great sayings. One is one that says bloom where you're planted. So be the best you can be in your environment. The other one is, if you're the smartest person in the room, find another room. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
I love it.
100%. It's just, I love how humbling it is when you start actually fracturing open this topic, right? And you start looking at if you were to write down, you know, a master class of information that encompasses a full understanding of the entire awakening, right? It's a lot, and I'm so here for it. My ADHD spun absorbing freaking mad brain is so here for it. Okay, here's another one. This is a banger, right, from Ron M again. 2 tonight, Ron. Okay, you got 2 questions tonight. Beverli, can bad energy come through the internet?
Well, energy travels. Energy and frequency can travel pretty much anywhere, and particularly through electronics and cables and things like that. And some cables have copper in them, which are superconductive. So yes, it can travel through that. So my answer to you, Ron M, is yes, it can travel through the internet, and you can feel it.
I can 100% testify to that being the case, and not even just bad energy, but good energy as a whole. It's the intent. We've been over anyway. Right, next question.
Let me answer. I got such a good one. Okay,
good.
Very quickly.
Please do.
To answer that one, so we know as beings that people can send negative energy, and what you do is you got to put protection up so you can whack that back. Yeah, you don't negotiate, you whack it back. and you hope it gets them. Okay, so don't be all fearful. Anyway, one day I used to live in Coronado, an island in San Diego, which is where Wallace Simpson and the king that abdicated used to live. Plus, half that island is a military base. Yeah, tons of stories to tell there. But I had a giant 4-poster bed. I was married at the time, and I was watching a live episode of Britain's Most Haunted, that silly show that was scripted. Where they go, "Is anybody there?" Oh my God, so annoying. But anyway, they were in a haunted prison, right? And I had a man, a big man in Hollywood, whatever, who was going to make. I'd made a show. It's called Psychic Secrets. It was a DVD on an investigation. I've done so many paranormal investigations. Anyway, so I said to him, "Watch this tonight. I want you to see it. This is the kind of thing we can create, but real and not make it up." I fell asleep during watching the live thing. Oh my God. I woke up and the end of my 4-poster bed is being lifted up. Because what happened is I fell asleep and my soul, or I astrally traveled in there and bloody brought something back with me. That was scary.
No.
It won't. It's never happened again. You know what I mean?
Passenger.
So again, yeah, hitchhiker, whatever. Yeah, there's lots of different things that can definitely happen. But what you got to create to whack people back. They're called energy whacks. And someone thinks they can sit and they can throw a spell at you. Good luck with that. I wouldn't want to be coming at me and then coming back at you. And again, you have to be fearless with everything. The minute we are fearful, no matter who it is, demon, human, doesn't matter, we're on a weakened back foot. Our energy is open to be drained, to be plugged. You've got to be so careful. So you're best to be neutral and choose not to be scared. People go, oh yeah, but you don't understand. Stop being a victim. Stop being a martyr. Just say no, take a breath and chill out. It's time we use the power that we are. We are not weak. We are not pathetic. We are incredibly strong. And the powers that be know that. They're terrified. Something else. Why do they say, oh, the humans aren't ready? How rude. How rude. We are more than ready and we're coming for you. We're coming for you all. Yeah, that's what they say. Oh, no, they're not ready. How insulting. How rude to everyone with talent and with, clairvoyance. And anyway, sorry, stop now.
It's all right. I feel your passion. Don't worry. I think we may have covered this earlier, but here's a good one. Hi, Beverli. Remote viewed the origin purposes. Has Beverli remote viewed the origin purpose of the Great Pyramids? One of my favorite tinfoil hat theories, charging stations for the UFO made using advanced vibrational levitating tech.
Well, I've RV'd them, definitely gone into actually not just the Great Pyramids in Egypt, because there's like 3,500 pyramids around the world. I've gone into quite a few in China, because when I came back from China, I was really interested to understand what is different with their pyramids and the ones in Egypt. And then I had to look at quite a few that are across Africa too. So I think let's hand over to Dani to talk about some of the other Great Pyramids themselves. What, you're saying that charging stations for UFOs. What's your take on that?
Okay, so it is technology. It is transforming the energy, the electricity, and all of the grids connect to each other. All of the grids and all of the countries. But you want to know something really cool about China, because you mentioned China. The Chinese found ancient technology in their pyramids, and they have reverse engineered it. Now, the Chinese are on their own, pretty much trying to create their own space program. Okay, there are 47 countries around the world at this stage who've signed what's called the Artemis Accord, meaning that they're all coming together, and the Americans are actually leading the space race. Okay, the American government have a fleet, an armada of spacecraft, and I'll tell you what it's called, and you can look it up, you can Google it, you can DuckDuckGo it. It's called Solar Warden. The American government have motherships and spaceships already. Half of the UFOs that we think we're looking at in the sky is soldiers flying those about. And some of those soldiers pretend to be ETs. They pretend to be aliens. Those buggers, everything they've done, it's all coming out. I was talking to Elena on my channel last night about this, and that's coming out tomorrow. Yeah. So China, they're reverse engineered, and they're also creating anti-gravity craft right now.
They are, and they're nearly ready with it. I believe the end of the year they'll be ready to fly a few. In fact, I think they've flown one. There was some footage that was very quickly removed off the internet. I managed to see it, and yes, they have already tested once. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with next.
All right, next one here. Hi, Beverli. And of course, Dani, just watched Dr. Stephen Greer's documentary, The Lost Century, wondering your thoughts on him and his contact with off-world entities.
Well, I have various views on Dr. Stephen Greer's items. Yes, and yeah, I think also there's a lot of his credit that he takes for some things that I know factually perhaps was actually and should be attributed to other individuals. So I think that he's a spokesperson at the moment. I'm pleased that he has a documentary out. I haven't seen The Lost Century, so it's something I'm going to have to go and look at. His contact with off-world entities, I'm assuming you're talking about the CE5 across the world. I think a lot of people are following his CE5 protocols, and they are getting some level of contact. But sometimes, because I know Stephen Greer was taking a lot of the kudos for himself personally and has left other individuals that were part of what he was doing right from the beginning, that does make me a little concerned that there's a lot more ego there than we originally thought. What do you feel, Dani?
I'm a bit worried to talk about him, really, because I haven't met him. But if you look at different physical signatures in humans, some of them, like me, you look at me and you'll go, wow, she looks very Pleiadian. Yes, and you'd be right. I have Pleiadian DNA like billions of other people do. You look at someone like Greer and you go, oh, yeah, reptilian, absolute reptilian. It's unmistakable. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Now, the only thing that concerns me about people like him, Nick Pope, who was like the UK big UFO pusher, a lot of these people, I'm not saying Greer did this, they don't want the truth to come out. Like, I'm just sitting here going, blah, I don't have an agenda. I'm not selfish. I'm letting everyone know what's real and what's happening. But some of these people have kept information back. And then all of a sudden, it's all very well managed. The governments are coming out. They're talking about it now because they've got no choice. They've got no choice. Now, I'm sure Greer's done some good work, but I do know for a fact, and it's actually there to be seen, he used to work for the CIA. Yeah. I've got a bit of an issue with the CIA myself. You know, probably a lovely bloke, but, you know, I've never met him, but I've got a little bit of a signature frequency concern there, if I may say that, leave it there.
Yep.
Okay. Here's an interesting one. How many current news anchors do we have on TV that are aliens?
Wow.
That's what's really happening in the world. That's a banger.
Wow. Oh dear, I would say, if I'm going to go out on a limb here, I would say probably about 80% of them.
80%?
Yeah, I'd say 80% because remember, they're part of the mass media. They have to toe the line.
No, let me hit you for some exacts. Do you mean hybrids? Do you mean pure bloods when it comes to the aliens? What are we talking here?
I think they would be mainly hybrids. I haven't seen any yet that have a pure just alien inside a human husk body. I haven't seen any of them yet, but certainly I have seen them morph quite a few times, and I've seen their real energy and their real bodies coming out. So yeah, news anchors would have to be towing the line whether they like it or not. So they've bought into it, and definitely they are hybrids that are, you know, the master says jump and they will say how high and when and how.
Let me ask you something, Dani. You say you only talk about things that you can prove and that are you've experienced, right? Or that people are. So are there things that you've experienced that are so beyond what you would feel comfortable talking about because of your inability to either explain, rationalize, or put that over, if that makes sense? Because did that make sense? Because I feel like there might be a lot more going on with you than just what you can prove.
Oh yeah, definitely. Of course there is. There is with everybody that comes out and talks on these subjects. There has to be, you know, and I feel like I've gone like a lot
all of what I'm saying, Dani, all of what I'm saying is coming from when you're not saying anything.
Right, right.
Like there's a lot going on when you're not saying anything.
There is, and I'm being careful. Like, listen, you asked a question about the news readers, and I'm thinking about people like, let's say, Kim Kardashian, who revealed her reptilian side, and there's a demonic ownership there, and it's like the breakdown for people to understand everything that we were conditioned to worship and celebrate. The celebrities, the news anchors, and you got to look at who reports the news, who owns that. What have those people done to get into those front-facing positions? What parts of their soul have they given up as a bargaining tool to become what they believe is something to be celebrated too? And there are many, many people, like some of those newscasters, they sit and they sound and they feel to me like the synthetic greys. Like there's fuck all going on inside, but a beautiful face and maybe a bit of a bust line and a high cheekbone and a handsome man, and then some of the guys that say the White House guys, and this has absolutely been proven, so I'm not lying here either. You see these front-facing men, and then you read about them in Kathy O'Brien's book, and you go, oh my God, you sick, horrible monster, you monster. Reagan, you absolute monster. Dick Cheney, you absolute monster. In her book, and you look and you go, oh my God, how could you present yourself? Look at the shirt lifting cardinals and the shirt lifting bishops. Those awful trash. When people who are of the Catholic faith can take an honest look and tell themselves the truth about the hierarchical harm these men, mostly men, from the Pope down, have done to our little ones, then they'll be able to love themselves in the way they should. And not be kowtowing to a system that hates them. I know it's jarring. I know it's upsetting to hear these words, but we've got to have conversations like this, to our beloved humanity, our family, of everyone that lives that has love in their heart, that wants a better life, can open up to. It's too important not to speak in these ways, No,
I fully agree. I mean, just so you know, Dani, in my background, I've done 7 years of investigating people that done horrible things to children and shut down their networks, put a bunch of people in jail, disrupted millions of euros of funds, took away their websites, all that stuff. So I hear the passion when it comes to the children, for sure. Everyone does. I mean, you're a crazy person if you're not on the side of saving the kids. Do you know what I mean? But you just you don't. No one wakes up and decides they want to do that. I just wanted to make camping videos on YouTube, and that's where I ended up. So okay, so let's move on to the next question. Here's a good one. So do you have any knowledge, and I'm going to butcher this, the Yes, exactly as I was going to pronounce it there, Beverli. Well done. You announced that perfectly. I just want to congratulate you there. One of the Pleiadian star seeds in particular, I've heard they're very rare, but I also been told that I am Taygetian. I get it.
Yeah, I would imagine it's probably got dark hair, because most of the Taygetians that I've been able to see or channel, they generally have dark hair. So I think that the Taygeta definitely is a part of the star seeds that have been here. There seems to be quite a few here. My contact R has said at the moment there's over 1 million on the planet. So I don't know how true that is, but I would say because of the Pleiadian sector, it would be one of the star seeds that are coming here en masse to help. What do you feel about that, Dani?
Well, I'm going to come in on a slightly negative angle here, because I have experience with some bird who says she's a Taygetan and that she had a guru. And I say to everyone, do not follow a guru. Do not follow a guru. And they call it something Ragu, or, like the sun god Ra, and then Gu for guru, or some name like that. And they had an agency, and they were out everywhere, and they were getting their information through a keyboard. So they'd be sitting, typing on the keyboard, blah, 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 and all this information comes from the Taygetans, and they're putting it out there, and it was all BS, absolute BS. And they were so aggressive and so violent when they started getting called out. This is like 3 or 4 years ago. And it turns out that it was some bloke in India who was like answering the questions. They're drawing these pictures of beautiful Pleiadian girls, all very sexy, beta sex kitten image, to reel in the men, and it was all bollocks. It was all nonsense.
And
it was all made up.
What did you say they were called? Ra something? Ragu.
Ra. There was a name. I said to the guys, oh my God, don't you see that's 2 names put together? Do you not see
if it's Ragu, I have been buying into their stuff for years. Okay, I've been buying into their thoughts for years. We've all been duped by a cult, guys. We've all been
Absolutely love it.
Never
But
mind,
it's
never mind.
funny, but it was something like Shri, like Goo for Guru, and I think it was
Yeah.
the Ru part. Was it you?
No,
maybe?
Ra for the sun
Was
god.
it
and
you?
No, listen, don't believe what you read in the web.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, we've just been sent a wonderful super chat. 1 second, let me just get that question over to you, ladies. I wrote a TV show to reveal the paradoxical. Oh wow, the paradoxical paradigm hidden.
Paradigm.
Thank you. Yes, hidden in plain sight to challenge the conscience and virtue. Will it take enlightening the masses simplistically to aid the larger cracking, mate? That was a grown-up question. Beverly's trying to read it herself because I'm really like a 7-year-old. Did you see that?
That's
Beverly?
all right. Well, at least I've got my glasses on and I can read it. Yeah, I think it will need, we're definitely going to have to get a lot of the information, education out to the masses. And I think that's what everyone's trying to do. We're all trying to educate. We're all trying to share the knowledge and move things out so that we can start changing consciousness. And that's where we're at the moment. So if this person's written a TV show, that's all good and well.
Kraken Studio, thank you so much for the support. Okay, here's another one, right? So, can we talk about RH negative blood type? I just need to tell everyone we've got about 11 minutes left of the show. I know everyone's going to be like, oh, no, but the questions. We are fully aware. Hang on a second. Are you okay? Okay, you're not going into labor. Okay, you're just getting meatballs. Oh,
No,
man.
you're right. You're right. Your energy would have changed if you were just going to become a daddy.
Oh,
No,
listen, I'm
she's
ready for it,
okay.
man. I'm ready for it. But, you know, it's wait until the morning or something. Okay, so can we talk about RH negative blood type?
Oh, rude, Ron.
You're going to cross the legs. Oh, my God.
I'm just saying. I'm too freaked out. We don't know if she's turned around yet. I'm too freaked out that she's going to go into labor and a leg's going to come out and I'm going to be like, oh, no. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm freaking out. So, So
Ron,
I'm just kidding, babe. Everything's fine.
Oh,
Okay, you didn't hear me anyway. Okay,
Yes.
Yeah, so RH negatives. Okay, so I'll just say that there's only a very small percentage of the blood groups on this planet that are RH negative. I think the last count that was done, I think it was about 4%. And because that tracks back to some of the original bloodlines, the RH negative, I think most individuals have it down as the savior blood group because RH negative blood can be put into anybody. It is not the type of blood that would cause an issue or fight with. RH negative can go into any person to save a life. So it's very positive, but they are reducing dramatically on the planet. And it seems to be the last few years I've noticed that individuals that have RH negative, when I've been speaking to them, they seem to be attacked the most because they need to be removed because they have a lot of light inside them. And the RH negative is the type that also tracks back to various specific groups that colonize the earth. And it seems to be like a breadcrumb trail. And sometimes I find, particularly those that I do in workshop environments, they're the ones that seem to have the most difficult time, seem to be the RH negative blood group types. What do you think about that, Dani?
One thing which is very important to share with your audience in particular, please do not put your bloodline in the chat. I'll tell you why. Because every single show like this is watched by the asshats that run everything, and they target people with RH negative blood. So anytime I'm on with my team, with the speakers at my conference, it's coming to England, by the way, in a few weeks. You're all welcome to come to the one in England. May. Right.
Travel.
Yeah.
We'll go down together, Ron, you and I. We'll go down.
You bet your backside we'll be going down there together.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah, Ron's just going to miss the alien spaceship meetup. Okay.
Yeah. So they watch, the agencies watch the chat and they want to see people be vulnerable and put their bloodline in there. So guys, please do not do that.
I just want to say I can vouch for Betty. Betty was asking for a friend. Okay, so if you're watching the show, Betty was asking for a friend, and I'm just putting that out there. Right, next question. Okay, yeah. How much is that lovely, non-suspicious, definitely nothing going on in the vaults underneath the Vatican involved in all this? Okay, because they're at it. Okay,
Yes.
you can allegedly a Vatican at it. I'm telling you now, they've got some stuff down there.
They've got loads of stuff down there. That stuff,
They've
and
got
also I must say they're very easy to remote view because
sweet.
there's individuals. They're so easy because they've got no protection triangles and they've got no actual areas. And I was able to get into all sorts of areas and look at stuff. So yeah, I think there's a lot of areas there that is a no-go zone, and I think that some of those individuals are involved in the cover-up. Yes.
So just out of curiosity, and I'm not thinking about views or virality, but how difficult would it be to, like, you know, live stream someone remote viewing into a place, right? I'm just asking. Like, I mean,
it's not difficult.
It's not difficult.
You know, when I worked on that case recently, you know, the one I'm talking about.
I do know.
When I worked on that case, we could have done a live stream on what I'm getting. We could have done that if we wanted to.
Okay, I mean, I don't think I need to say this, but put one in the side chat if you fancy seeing that one night. I'm just saying, put one in the side chat. It sounds like an interesting one. Also, that could be one. That could be a good one for the Patreon as well. Beverly is something like that.
Beverli and Tony Rodriguez. He's also, to me, the greatest remote viewer on the planet because he was kidnapped by the army and sold around and experimented on. And now, as a man in his 50s, he is off the charts and he is remote viewing. Well, there's tons on him. He's on my channel. We're doing another broadcast on Sunday, yeah. But I can imagine Tony Rodriguez with Beverli Rhodes live remote view. That would be something extraordinary to witness.
Especially if we're going after, you know, children that have been misplaced. That might be a good one.
There is, I tell you what, once all this comes to an end, Beverli and I and a certain individual, right? I don't know if we can mention his name. I don't want to mention his name.
No, don't mention his name until he agrees to it.
Yeah, a certain individual. There has been a madness that has taken place. It's not for Beverli, it's just another day at the office. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm losing my mind, right? Me and the other person, right? We're in a group all together, but me and him chat outside the group, like, I can't believe this is happening. And he's like, yeah, I can't believe it's happening either. Like there you go. I have no words, and that is really rare, right? So when we can actually talk, sorry, just to tease everybody there, I can't really talk about it. But once we can talk about it, it's going to blow everyone's minds. It's going to
maybe we can get Tony, you know, the new target that we've been given of this other person. Yeah. We've been given another person now. That
yes, you give him a blind target, blind protocol. So he's
it will be a blind. It will be a VB one, and we can do a blind one, and then have a look and see, because that one I think would be really great to crack that one.
Yeah, but will I survive my mind being blown?
You'll survive. You'll be fine.
And this is the thing. Like,
you survived the last one, which you didn't even know that we cracked it.
Listen, I'm all good. If as long as your intent is good, I'm very, very open. As long as your intent is good. It was when your intent is nasty, that's when some things step in, and they're all good. They're my chums. Okay, we got to this question. We've probably got enough time for about one, maybe two more questions, everybody. But I am fully aware that Beverli and I definitely need to do a Q&A show because
I think we just do one show, rapid fire questions.
Yeah,
and just
100%.
Q&As.
Yeah,
so everybody has a chance.
Because I feel like I feel like I'm learning every week, and there's been some incredible questions, and I feel like we're all learning along together. So I'm well up for that. So we'll get that organized. Okay, here's I tell you what, let me just try and find one second. Okay, let's end it on Project Monarch, right? A lot of people ask about Project Monarch. Can you just give us a sort of a breakdown of when people they talk about the symbolism of the butterfly and all of this stuff? Is there tell us about your knowledge of it if you can. Sorry, my brain's running out of steam, as you can hear.
Dani, do you want to start with that? Unfortunately, I have a butterfly tattoo, which tells you what program I was involved in.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
There's so many different levels. You got, Project Monarch, you've got Montauk, you've got all the MK Ultra, which they both bleed into. And there's so many, again, so much symbolism. Everyone that has a butterfly doesn't necessarily have to be in that environment. Unfortunately for Beverli, she knows she was off certain programs. She remembers. And so she can potentially relate that. You look at someone like Mariah Carey, clearly that lady, at some point as a young girl, something awful's happened to her. Something terrible's happened to Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Justin Bieber. Oh my God. There are some people, and I think all of them have some kind of symbolism to that. But again, it's not everybody with a butterfly. We're not saying that. But you see, the arse-wipes at the top, they think they're clever. So they stamp a lot of the children, now adults, with these. So you can see the size of it, the color of it. Is it on the left? Is it on the right? It's really, really terrifying. And there's many different layers and levels to it. But ultimately, I don't want to put people off butterflies, but for some people, it really is like dark symbology, and it's very sad.
Well, listen, ladies, you've blown everyone's minds. Okay, I think put a one in the side chat if you're just going to go and have a lie down for 20 minutes and a nice, right, 20-minute lie down, maybe
intentional.
Just maybe like some nice cup of tea and just be like, okay. Everything in the world I've been told is a lie, and we're systematically breaking it down week by week. So Beverli, amazing. Dani, this ain't the last we've seen of you. I'm telling you that right now, mate. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
We have.
Well, we need to get something set up on WhatsApp, right? We need to get something set up on WhatsApp. We need to be plugging this event next year. We need to be plugging all of the stuff that you've found with the stuff in the sky. Because I feel like I feel like this was the hour-long presentation that I derailed for at least 15 minutes fanboying out. So we'd love to have you back, and I just want to thank you. Oh, thank you, Beverli. Thank you, Dani. Thank you, side chat. Please like, please share, please push this out. We have got our interview with Misha coming up, and of course our interview later this evening from Suge Knight from prison. It's amazing. It's one of the most. It's a bombshell one on the whole Didasphere. So make sure you guys.
That's the Suge Knight. That was the one I disappeared into the Suge Knight cell. On the Sunday. Yeah. Okay, Suge, I'm going to be watching that. Thank you. Thank you, Dani, so much.
Thank you, love. Thank you so much. Ask Misha about the demons that she saw at the parties and the demons that she felt in people. Yeah, and again, see how they're all connected. Everything's connected.
I'm going to do my very best not to ask any questions. I'm going to sit. I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to behave, and I'm going to just make sure the boss is okay. And if he needs anything, I'm going to do it, and that's what I'm going to do. All right.
Great.
So
thank you, Sean Atwood.
Thank you so much.
Love you.
Take it easy, guys. Thank you so. Like, share, subscribe.